คุณจอห์นเคยเป็นอาจารย์สอนวิชาพุทธศาสนาในมหาลัยบริสตอลเมื่อ5 ปีที่ผ่านมาเขากับเพื่อนอีก3 คนซึ่งล้วนเป็นกูรูชื่อดังด้านพุทธศาสนาได้ร่วมกันก่อตั้งวิทยาลัยโพธิแหล่งเรียนรู้พุทธศาสนาที่เน้นการทำความเข้าใจคำสอนดั้งเดิมของพระพุทธเจ้าไม่เน้นพฤติกรรมหรือจารีตแบบพุทธในเอเชีย
Wanted to know a little bit about how you got started doing that and then how did you develop the program or the college?
Well, as you probably know, Bodhi College isn't that old. It's not a tremendously old institution by any means. And it really occurred primarily out of an interest that the main founders of Bodhi College, there was 4 of us who were primarily responsible for this. Stephen Batchelor, Christina Feldman, the Kinchno, who had been a monk in Thailand and within the forest tradition in Thailand, and myself, and coming together and thinking what a lot of Western Buddhism lacks is a deep understanding of the early tradition. And both Stephen and I, and the Kinchno to a certain extent, but particularly Stephen and I, had a lot of conversations about this material in the Pali Canon, the Pali Nikayas particularly, and how much material is in there that, for example, even within the traditional approaches, you don't hear spoken about. Because in many ways, even Theravada Buddhism is an orthodoxy. It uses certain parts of the canon to establish a particular position about Buddhism. Whereas, as you know, the Pali Canon is a huge amount of work, thousands upon thousands of suttas within that. And all of us, when we were at a conference quite a number of years ago, I forget how many years ago, probably about 8 or 9 years ago, we were at a conference, the 3 of us at least, said, wouldn't it be a nice idea if we had an institution that was devoted to studying this early material and utilising this early material in a way that brings questions both to the material itself, but also to the ways that people live in the West at the moment. And that's really how Bodhi College came about. It was out of a shared interest about the early Pali Canon, particularly the Sutta Nikaya part of it. And for me, it was also Abhidharma, but particularly I think the Sutta part, because part of what we do within Bodhi College is get people to read suttas.
Really?
Yeah. We get them to read them, study them, and then talk about them, to their mentors, because everybody has a mentor who's on their course, on one of our longer courses. So they get set a sutta to read each month, and then, basically we go into a question and answer session about what it's about. What don't you understand about this sutta? What doesn't make sense? What makes sense? What seems, embedded in 5th century BCE India? And that way, start to unpack what's within that material rather than just see it as a religious text. So it's a very much an analytic approach to these texts and to bring them to life. And that's really how Bodhi College came about. And in a way, that's how it's continued to be developed.